Hello and welcome to the Fool's Journey. You have just experienced the love video that the wizard produced for the Wizard of Oz tarot deck. We love bringing those videos to you guys. They're just so amazing and hypnotic and powerful. But welcome to the Fool's Journey. Tonight's show is going to be a special one. It's very interesting to me because I see a ton of people in the backstage area who are welcome in the backstage area, but that's not where you're supposed to be. So Patty and Jack sent you guys the link to join the show. So if you look in the chat, you should see a link that will allow you to just watch the show on YouTube and actually also allow you to interact with us by chatting. So right now, you guys are all just sitting in the backstage. You're actually watching the show live. When you go onto YouTube, there's like a 30-second delay, but that's really where you guys should be. You're welcome to stay in the backstage area. I can see you all there. I see Lou, I see Malik, I see David, I see Ron Hoy. Welcome. Thank you guys for coming. I think Patty and Jack just misunderstood the link. We sent them the link to join the show because they're going to run the meditation. And there's another link to watch the show, which is in the chat right now. I'll actually put it up here. This is a little too much to probably type, but that's where you're going to want to watch the show. If you're sitting backstage, again, you're welcome to sit backstage and watch the show in the experience that you're watching it now. You just won't be able to necessarily chat with us from the backstage. But welcome, and thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it here at the Fool's Journey. I see some people out there, Tammy and Rick. Welcome, and Celestial and Jilly and all the regulars. Thank you. Oh, I'm so excited. Tonight is going to be phenomenal. Tonight's show is about the moon. That's the card we're going to explore. So we're going to get ready to explore the moon card. But before we do, Brian told me I could kind of feature my own artwork here because I have recently done a shoot with my girlfriend based on the moon, and I'm just going to bring that up. I'm going to add that to the stream here. And here's an image that I created with my girlfriend. We have this little moon light up moon model that I used in the photography, and I use a projector in my photography. So I was projecting an image of the universe onto Janice there, and so that's the source image of something that I want to show you guys. One of the source images. This is another source image here that we shot. Again, I was very happy with these images just as projector images, but something else that I do, and we've talked about it here, something I do with my photography is I create what I call human mandalas. So I take this image and I create it into a mandala type image by repeating it and doing something like this with it. That was like one of my first experiments with this image, the first human mandala that I created from this image. And what I usually experiment a bit and try different distances and sizes and things like that in my symmetry. This is a Photoshop action that I created myself to facilitate these images. So this was a second version of that image. And again, I was just so happy with the way these images were coming out. They're so energetic to me. There's so much energy. There's so much goddess energy in there, and moon energy, and love energy. So I was really happy with the way they came out. This was another iteration of the image, and then I'm about to show you guys the final image, which was this image, which was a combination of a few of the different iterations that I had done, and I call this image the Moon Keeper. And this is available for print. Not that we're trying to sell you anything, but I'm so proud and happy with the way this image came out. It looks amazing, printed on metal, which I have hanging in my house, and I'm just, again, super grateful to the universe for being able to do this kind of stuff. I feel like it's channeled as I do it. And then one of the things that I've been experimenting with lately is now taking these images and creating animations with them. So I want to share that with you guys. I'm going to just remove this one from the screen, and I'm going to add this new one to the stream and enjoy this. So as it's fading out here, I just want to give credit to my good friend Steve Interante, who is playing the E-Beat, which is a musical wind MIDI instrument. He does a lot of sound healings himself, um, and this is his piece called Pastel Butterflies. He lent it to me to use as a background. And there you go. So that's my moon experiment with my own imagery, just a way to open up tonight's episode all about the moon. And it is time to bring on the wizard himself, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brian Lahr. Welcome, Brian.
Hey,
How you doing, my friend?
work, man. Really nice work.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
enjoyed checking it out, man. I am just beyond stoked about tonight's show. You know,
I
the
know.
moon. We've ridden through the star for the last couple of weeks, and I have to say it did not disappoint, man. Some really amazing dream come true things happened for me, and
Awesome.
I can't be happier with that little section of time. Although I have to say I've been stretched and shredded and put back together so many times in the last week. I'm hoping I have all the pieces. You know,
Yeah.
if I see anything lying around, you know, I'll put that in the spare parts jar.
That's great. That's great.
You know, so we're gonna you know, we had a little bit different format tonight, and we got a really great special guest treat tonight. My friends Pratiti and Prata, that I have been participating in a Tibetan bowl meditation that they do every week for, man, about 6-7 months now, and it just really, I love it. I never miss, and even though they make it difficult in the middle of my Friday morning.
Well, you got a great taste last week.
Every time, and I've really connected to some amazing people, and they have graciously come on to share a guided meditation with us today. And I wanted to describe a little bit about that. Well, we'll do that before we bring them on.
Sure. Yeah.
We'll get into the card right now, like the card, the moon. You know, some of the cards are super straightforward and boom, like you know, lust is this primal fire. You know, you can make that really complicated in a lot of different directions, but boom, that's what that card is about. To me, the moon is one of the most complex cards that there are, because it actually represents the subconscious and that whole dream world, and that whole world that is unformed and out there in the ether, you know, and in the depths of your own shadow world, you know. And as a matter of fact, when I think about that card and I'm like in that space of where that is, it's always that dim kind of, you know, shadowy sort of look. Like it looks, you know, just a couple days ago in the light of the full moon, man, it was so bright. It was almost like an overcast day, but it had that eerie kind of woo, kind of magical feel about it, you know. So, you know, the moon really relates to intuition. It relates to imagination. It relates to inspiration at its best, and delusion and fear, and like some of the darker versions of the shadow side at its worst. So this is one of those cards that it really, the reading on this card depends on what the surrounding cards are and the nature of that, you know, because it can just be so many different directions in your own dream world. You know, what's going on in your dream textures. You know, one of the versions in the Rider-Waite thing has this weird lobster. It's like this dark kind of dim, like weird world, and this weird lobster crustacean thing is coming up out of the water and crawling in. And it was just like, you know, it's like that's a dream world. It doesn't make any sense. What's this lobster doing in my thing? You know,
right.
So it's all about symbols. It's all about like visions and feelings and intuition. And one of the, you know, a lot of people skew this card to mean things are not as they seem. So if it's a relationship, you know, what you're being told, probably sketchy. You better verify what's going on. You know, in job situations, if you're in a new job hunt and people are making promises to you, you know, may not all be all together, and do some double checking on that, so across the board that can represent uh, not outright deceit, but things not being the way you're seeing them, and that's one of the things about the dream world is it skews the way you see things. When you're in the light of day, things, even though they aren't, they look hard. That book over there is that book, and it's not going to change. In the dream world, you reach for that book and all of a sudden it's a telephone, like anything can happen there.
You
And
saw,
that's
you
kind
saw
of
the
the
shadow of it or something. Right, right,
yeah, and that's kind of the nature of that thing. And in like the Fool's Journey story, we've just come from like the tower where like everything that we had believed had just gotten freaking decimated.
right. Yep, indeed.
So we're standing there in the rubble, the smoking rubble of this beautiful structure that we built stupidly on a really bad foundation, and then look up in the night sky and there's the star, and we realize that there is hope, and we get renewed with that energy from that beautiful like world, and the desire to move on and to take the things that were left out of the tower and to make something real out of those built on truth, grows and nurtures, and that card is also about dreams coming true. And now that you've made it through that scenario and you've been and a lot of times stripped down to the bare metal, all of a sudden now you're available because all of the crap that you had built, all the faulty programmings, all the nasty stuff that you told yourself, you couldn't do for fear reasons, for whatever reasons. None of those were really true. And now all of a sudden you're stripped down to like the bare you, and you realize, man, this light that is inside of me is invincible. It is like invincible. It is the ultimate creative potential. And out from that, I could make my life be any freaking thing I want. And that's kind of what the star comes back and renews that, and says, oh, dude, go, just keep going. All right. So
And that's where you're at, and that's where I'm at, it seems, right? In our own journeys right now.
that's
Um,
exactly right.
so,
Well, and now we're here at the moon, and the moon is like, it's the place where dreams and inspiration and that's where all artists go. But the key is to visit, man. Like, get a ticket, spend the night, and check out in the morning. This is not the Hotel California where you want to check in anytime you like, but you can never freaking leave, because that's where madness, insanity, all kinds of sociopathic behaviors, just wow, it's thick down there, man. Yeah.
Jilly also says, "Clean slate, woohoo!" Yes, Jilly, we know we're all in this fool's journey together. It's so great. So for those of you guys who are new, I just want to point out that we are exploring the fool's journey and learning card by card the tarot through the Wizard of Odd's deck right here, the Wizard of Odd, this beautiful anniversary deck that Brian has provided for me. And that's what we're doing. And I'm going to bring up the moon card right now. So this is all Brian's artwork, again, just for people who haven't been here before. And
You know,
we're going
I
to talk
think
about the moon.
I think this card is one of my favorites in the deck, because I think of all the cards, this one more closely represents my internal feeling and my emotional connection to this card and this energy than any of the other cards. That central area there, if you can kind of zoom in on there, there's a lot of stuff in there, man.
Yep.
There's a lot of little creatures, there's a lot of little faces,
Yep.
and the center of the moon sort of represents like that dream world, that hope where creativity happens and you wake up in the morning all inspired and you go do the most amazing painting you've ever done, and that inspiration, the creativity, your intuition, that's where clairvoyance lives, that's where all your emotional textures like live. So in that center part is where kind of the hopeful part of that is. And then the outside of it, like at the very top of that looks this kind of skull looking thing, and they're dark looking kind of scenarios. And it's the creepy fear zone, man, because that, as much as it can be inspiring there, it can also inspire creativity. It can also inspire deep fear, man, that can send you down the rabbit hole that you never literally come back from. And that's one of the versions of the fool's journey story, is that the fool gets seduced into this land and starts wandering around, and like all of a sudden he doesn't really remember where he is or what he's doing, and he loses focus of his thing, and he's just in these dream images that are floating by, and he's like trying to remember where the path is to the next place. And finally, you know, he winds up kind of stumbling into a river and getting carried along and dumped out on the shore just as the sun is rising, which will be next week's card.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing how that works, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well,
it is.
I also find interesting because you started talking about shadow work, and we were talking about it before the show, and the whole idea of duality, and it's just interesting how the moon is that too, because we,
But yeah, and actually, as you're looking in the lower left corner, there's a sign. That sign there is for Pisces, which is, you know, I mean, look at the sign. It's like duality right there, you know.
yeah,
And Pisces is all about emotions and intensity and subconscious sort of scenario as well. And the little rune on the bottom left corner, not the one on the very bottom where the trumps is, but where, yeah, exactly. That's a rune called it's the rune called flow, and that's totally about water and things flowing into their new versions, you know, and their natural lessons and the way that they need to be moving their energy. And I really love this card. By the way, that little magic square down there, that planetary square, that I use that a lot. I use the sun, I use Mercury, and I use that one a whole lot. If I'm dealing with anything in my own emotional landscape, I always use that particular planetary square. And you know, I want to review the sigil technique. You know, I think it's in the first or second show that we did in this. I kind of went through
creating sigils.
I
Yeah, that
teach
is,
how to make those. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sigils are a really great way to, you know, take an intent and focus it really, really, really crispy, so that you get it down to a place where it has energy and juice, and you can put your own energy and juice in that and actually launch that out into the ether and make some really great things happen.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just going to drop this in here just to remind people this is the sigil exercise that we did, and part of the sigil exercise. So look for that diagram in episode 2. I believe you're right. I think it was episode 2.
Yeah, yeah, really
Excuse me.
good. All right, so let's see. We still got, yeah. We're gonna. I want to make sure we leave enough time for Patty and Jack.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so I want to leave you with a couple of little fun tools to take. Um, a couple of methods. These are kind of ancient methods for scrying, for look, you know, using a magic mirror to scry and either do medium work or divination work of all kinds. And one of the ways to, you know, the moon is about intuition. So I heard this a long time ago, and I've tried this a bunch of times. I really dig it a lot. And that's to take a piece of actual silver, not silver plate, but actual silver, and reflect the image, the light of the full moon back into your face off the silver, and just do a meditation with that, and open yourself up and ask for that aspect of yourself to get increased and to open up.
So I got a question about that. Is that, I guess I'm imagining there's some sort of alchemy in the reflection amplifying the energy of the moon or something like
The
that?
energy of the moon and also the energy of silver.
The energy of silver, all right. Oh, so they're amplifying.
Silver is
Wow.
very receptive, man. When I'm doing any kind of clairvoyant stuff, I don't wear any gold.
I knew you would have the answer. So it's amplifying the power of both of those energies. And
Yes, but well, exactly. You know, that's what you want to do. You're cooking a thing, man. You want to make sure you got the tomatoes and the good herbs and the chicken. You know, you want all the ingredients to be like complementing each other. And in this particular instance, that really does that.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I don't want you to go too far ahead before Jilly is asking you to comment on the rune. She says it's one of her favorite runes.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying, Jilly. It's the rune flow.
Yeah.
And that rune is about water, and it is totally about emotions and flowing naturally into your new forms. Yeah.
Perfect.
That's one of my favorite runes too, Jilly.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, so wow, I lost my train of thought. Okay,
Oh, sorry.
the scrying thing. A
Right.
lot of people use mirrors. I really dig mirrors. I've got a black mirror. I've got mirrors all around the room. They're one of my favorite tools for traveling in between places. And I've tried a million of them. I really dig those methods, and I love sitting out in the light of the full moon so much, man. And one of the ways to use that is to take a bowl. If it's a bowl with a dark bottom, that's even better, and fill that thing with water, and then tap the table that it's on, find some way to like make it have energy if you have abilities. Like some people I know, you could take your actual energy, hit the water with a blast of juice, and see what patterns those things make. It's just a really fun way to do some divination and go there. So I offer up those two as just some really fun little methods to do next time the full moon shows up and you're sitting out there.
I love it. I can't wait to try the silver thing. I think that's awesome. Uh,
Okay, so this is seriously uh, um, that yeah, wow. One of the reasons that the moon is one of my favorite cards is because it like makes me go down really deep and do my shadow work. And I've been reading at a bunch of festivals lately, and I just got to read this weekend at the Goddess Gathering. Man, I love those girls. They're just like become my family now.
so
Really super fun. But this theme just keeps coming up over and over and over and over and over to do shadow work and to get down into that area. So I wanted to throw out one of my favorite methods that my teacher threw out to me 15 years ago, and I've done so many times since. And it's really fun to see where I am now with that and where I was then.
cool.
And it's called the black and white mirror. Hang on one second.
Okay. Neil is asking, what is a black mirror?
It's two pieces of paper. And at the top of one paper, you put black. At the other top of the other paper, you put white. On the black paper, you list every trait about yourself that you don't like, that you don't think works, that doesn't function, that you consider a fault of some kind. And you list all of it, right? For me, that was a number of pages. and for this to be effective, this is not about showing this to anyone else. No one else sees this.
Sure.
This is just you and the mirror, man. And an honest, deep desire to improve yourself and to get out of your own way, man. And the only way to do that is to actually look at the things that are in your methods at the present time, figure out what doesn't really serve you as well as it could, get rid of those, replace those with methods that do work, and continue on the road, always doing that until the day you close your eyes for good. And as you continue to do that, it gets better and better and better. All right. So now that you've got this long list of stuff that you do that sucks, make the list of stuff that you do that's great. And that's on the white paper. Okay. For me, that was a lot shorter.
But
I came up with some nonetheless.
But you're
All
talking
right.
about the old days. If you were to do this now, the list.
Now, hold on. Now that you've this isn't about self-flagellation and like, oh man, I really suck. Look at all this stuff I really do. It's bad. No, it's about offering you an opportunity to like scope that out, organize it in a systematic way so that you can approach this piece by piece. You're not going to attack the whole thing tomorrow and succeed. You take it apart brick by brick by brick by brick by brick. And by understanding where your faults lie, and then taking those faults, and my assignment was to then break all of those up into columns, into the 4 elements: fire, water, air, and earth. And then take all of those things and list them in those columns, depending on where they were. So that immediately, depending on what column is longer, shows you where kind of like, is it a mental thing? Do I have all the stuff in the air? Is it a fire thing? Is this an energy thing? I have all the stuff. Is it an emotional thing? Man, like that thing's like 20 miles long. So it gives you this really instant view of where to go attack. And then once you have those kind of broken out into those columns, you take those columns and break those into easiest to most difficult.
Okay.
And you start at the longest column, at the easiest one. You can start at the most difficult if you're all like sure of yourself. You go, like, yeah, I've got it. But, start at the easiest one and just take them piece by piece by piece by piece by piece and stay on it relentlessly. It's can't you just make the list and now you don't do damn thing. Right. You have to make the list and actually start getting on it. Right. And that habit of addressing that becomes something that you do often. Like I've done this whole exercise probably 10 or 12 times and will continue to do it. And every single time, like, you never get to the bottom.
Sure, yeah. But at least tell me the white list gets a little longer.
The white list has really grown a lot, and I have to say the black list has really kind of shortened significantly to the point where it's kind of like, those core life issues that you're sort of born with and are going to be around in one way, shape, or form throughout the entirety of your life to test you on those. Right. And, so it's kind of down to that area. And, the more you try to keep living in the energy flow, when you live in the laws of energy and you live your life and conduct your actions based on the laws of energy and what those frequencies are, what the frequencies you send out attract back to you, cause and effect, super simple.
Super simple.
And when you live in those zones, man, things get a lot smoother. And, then you're not adding a lot to that, and you can spend your time addressing the crap that you'd like to get off of there. And
absolutely,
the more you get off and the cleaner your flow gets, the happier your existence is.
Absolutely.
And it's in some ways getting old, but in some ways that's a great thing.
Exactly. And I just want to say, like, even for people who I know understand that very thoroughly and live that way, and they control the energy, they know they live in its energy, and they know how to respond. I mean, they're still human, right? So there's still going to be that element of, okay, I'm in control for the most part, but I'm still living in the 3D, and but they deal with that very gracefully. The idea that even though I deal with everything gracefully, I'm not perfect.
Nor will you ever be.
Nor will I ever be. Exactly. Great. I love it. I love it.
All right. Well,
did you give us all of our shadow exercises for the day?
The black and white mirror is a significant.
I'm going to try it. I'm definitely going to
address that. That's not going to be something you do in an hour. That's going to be something I would recommend contemplating that for a day or two and actually just kind of making some notes. And when you sit down to do it, boom, do it, and then come back later and go, I missed a few, and really, really be thorough. Because the harder and the more objective you can be on that search and that critique of your own conduct, the better handle you'll get on improving that whole scenario.
It all starts inside, right? You can only make improvements outside if you make improvements inside.
Exactly. And you can't improve anybody else until you fix your fucking self.
Right. but then once you do, you don't even really want to. You realize I don't want to improve anyone else. Yeah,
exactly. So this is really so. I love this card. I love this card. And, coming off of the star and dreams and wishes fulfilled, I'm sailing into the happy dreams and inspirations and creativity. And I'm already really making I've written some crazy music and images. I'm like, I'm in the slipstream right now.
I can't wait for some new Brian material.
Yeah, we'll have some
real wizard stuff,
All right, so let's, we are just really gifted and blessed to have Pratiti and Prata on the show tonight, and
Yeah.
they're going to do their Tibetan bowl meditation. And I wanted to just kind of set you up on this a little bit. It's in 3 separate sections, and it's going to be 3 minutes of bowl playing, 3 minutes of silence, another 3 minutes bowls, 3 minutes of silence, 3 minutes of bowls, 3 minutes of silence, and then a single ring of the bell at the end of that. So kind of just stay in the zone. And I'll throw this out on how I use these. Feel free to like dive in any way, shape, or form that feels right. But I kind of use the very first section of that to collect myself and to sink down and like get really centered. I do that 4-2-4 breath thing where you're like in for 4, hold for 2, out for 4, and just like kind of like do that as I'm listening to the bowls. Oh, I would strongly suggest headphones as well. The ringing and the harmonic overtones that happen with the bowls are just crazy, and the ring out on them is amazing. And for those of you that are trying to get some meditation processes started, the ring out at the end of those bowls, if you can attach your attention to that ring and go all the way down until it's just absolutely gone and hang on to it, it'll take you to a really cool space. And I use that a lot. I use my crystal bowls for that a lot. So that first section I use to kind of gather stuff, that then you get a little chunk for meditation. Then that second chunk, that's where Patel does that thing where he kind of goes around the edge with a wooden mallet kind of thing. Yeah. And it makes this weird kind of scrapey sound that he's just got the technique down awesome. Masterfully. Yeah, and nice. I use that to send stuff away, man. Yeah. Like he does that, ooh, and I kind of collect.
I remember last week we got a nice taste, and I remember there was a moment where you were just like, you felt it.
Yeah. As that scrape happens, it's like,
yeah. Well, let's bring them on. I would love to hear Patty and Jack.
Hold on.
I'm sorry. I blew it.
Done.
Sorry.
Not done.
You're not done.
Okay. So the third part of that, now that you've like divested yourself of all of that stuff, that third part, man, I go to some weird, trippy places. And depending on what mood Pratah's in and kind of like the zone he's setting up, that if you're like staying in the zone and you stay down there, man, he will take you on an amazing trip. So please take advantage.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
All right, awesome. Well, I'm going to bring on the captains of this moment in this ship, in this journey, Patty and Jack. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, hi guys, great to be on the show.
Good to see you guys again. So
we want to thank you for inviting us and giving us the opportunity to share what we do with your friends, and some of our friends are on board with us tonight as well.
Really excited. Thanks.
To kind of link what you were saying with our little presentation here, I noticed that on the moon card, hi Tammy, it looked like a staff with some notes on top.
That's exactly right.
A melody you had there, and it was going down in steps. Can you just 30 seconds? What is that?
Well, that is card? Look, on the major arcana cards, which are the first 22 that we're dealing with in the Fool's Journey, each one of those, I took the actual name of the card, the moon, and I ciphered that numerologically so that those letters turned into numbers, and then those numbers have musical correspondences. So every word has an intrinsic musical sequence in it, and that's what it is. And that's what all the songs in those videos are built off of, actually.
Oh, really? All right.
Each one of those little music sequences is the key and the basis for those. Like at the very right, at the lower right hand corner, there's like G, F, E. That's like the key for the card.
Oh.
So that sequence works in, whatever key that is, although you can transpose that and make that be anything else.
Wow. Yeah. Show the people, Michael, the top of the card, that's a musical staff.
Yep.
And Brian has written little melodies in there. Are those the letters? What's inside the notes, Brian? Are those letters or numbers?
No, those are just musical notes. Those are just whole notes.
Okay, just the notes, a little melody. Fantastic. So I thought that would be a nice kind of segue into our sonic sound bath section.
Yeah.
Um, I am, some of you that know me know I am a musician, a trained musician. I have 2 degrees from the Juilliard School, so I was trained as a concert pianist. And Prata and I got into meditation many decades ago, and one thing led to another. We've been collecting the bowls for about, since the mid 90s. And we like the metal bowls. Here's a little one. This one I brought from Kathmandu in 2015 on a beautiful trip that I had there. This one and 2 others. And so we do have a little meditation group that we do online every Friday morning. And we met Brian because he had advertised on Craigslist. I love this little story, Brian, how we met on Craigslist. He had a little kind of cleaning out his belongings, and it looked like he was going to sell some bowls. And we went down to his home in Florida and met him and got a couple of bowls, and we became friends. And at that meeting, he showed us his deck, his beautiful decks. I was blown away by his art, and I would like to make a connection here. I was stunned and taken. My breath was taken away when I saw Brian's art and the decks, and of course, I bought a deck. And what took me away was the fact that he's photographing light. And one of the themes that Brian is talking about tonight is the light of the moon and light in general. And you also referred to our inner light at one point tonight, Brian. And I see all of the connection of sound, light, the moon, the card, the music. And I love those interconnections. And actually, as we know, I'm sure everyone here tonight knows about and can see the interconnection of their own lives and life in general, and how everything is connected to everything. And you also mentioned in your technique, the black page and the white page, you mentioned purification. So Prata is going to play the bowls as you explained to our audience tonight. And what I'd like to do is share with you a new technique of purification that I just learned a few weeks ago. Its roots are from Tibet, but we're going to adapt it tonight to the light of the moon. And it's only going to take a few minutes because I don't want to use up the time of the bowls. But in Tibet, in the classical teachings of Tibet, they often purify their body, speech, and mind before they begin a meditation or a process, or before you go outside with the bowl for the moon with the water. You might want to just purify in a very simple way. It only takes a few minutes, and it involves breathing. They call it the 9-round breathing because it involves 9 breaths. And it's broken down like this. We're going to take 3 breaths to clear our bodies, all right? Not hard. We're going to take 3 breaths to clear our speech, which refers to things that we may have said something that we really didn't mean. Maybe we didn't accidentally said something to somebody that may have hurt their feelings, in a moment of unconsciousness, or maybe things that we wanted to say that we didn't say, and it's a little stuck here or stuck there. So we're going to clean out the speech, and then we're going to clear out what they call in Tibet the mind, which means just in general the flow of any cobwebs inside, any little kinks, any little speed bumps in there, just the general washing out, cleansing. And we're going to do that for 3 breaths. And I'm going to guide you through it. It's only going to take a couple of minutes. And then Prata will play the bowls in the 3 sections that Brian explained. So let's get in a space of relaxation. It's good to have your spine straight. So like I'm sitting on a sofa, but I'm sitting at the edge of it. So my spine is straight. And just for a minute, close your eyes, and you can keep your hands on your lap or your knees, whatever is comfortable. And we're going to begin by imagining tonight, because it's still kind of full moon and the theme of the show is the moon. We're going to imagine the moon shining down above our heads. And, you know, the moon is representative of a feminine energy. It's very loving and pure and caring. And so we're going to wash and purify our bodies now by imagining the moon. Here we go. This is going to be the first breath. As you inhale, just visualize the moon coming down through the top of your head and coming down your spine and spreading it, the light, all through your body, through your neck, upper shoulder area, through your heart, through your organs, your limbs. And as you exhale, just release any tension, any illness, any kind of tension through the bottoms of your feet. So let's try that. Inhale the light, visualize any illness, sickness, tension for a moment, and then exhale through the bottom of your feet. And feel the light of the moon bathing your body, caressing your body, both externally and internally. So we're going to do this 2 more times. Okay, inhale through your nose. Feel the light coming down through the top of your head, through your shoulders, arms, organs, and cleaning out all of the energy of your physical body. Exhale through the bottom of your feet. Relax. And one more time. Feel the light of the moon coming down through the top of your head, permeating all of your body, cleansing out any kind of illness, sickness, any kind of respiratory, any kind of knee problems, any problems. Just allow the moon energy, the light, to clean, and exhale through the bottom of your feet. Next, we're going to do the same process. This time we're going to cleanse our speech. Again, for a moment, feel the light of the moon, beautiful moon above your head. It's shining down, and it's coming down through the top of your head, through your brain, clearing out all of the brain nonsense and through your body. And this time, we're going to exhale it through our mouth. So let's try it. Inhale. Think about any blockages in speech. And exhale through the mouth. Once again, inhale the light through the top of your head. Allow it to spread through your whole body, and then bring it up to your mouth. And imagine that you're clearing out communications, any kind of communications that might have been hurtful or you didn't mean it, whatever, through the mouth. And sometimes we even think things that are not very nice, but we don't say them. Let's clear those out too. So imagine the moon again. It's shining. It's loving you. It's giving you its love and permission to be pure. And bring it down through the top of your head, through your body, up through your mouth, and let all that negative stuff go out through your mouth. And finally, whatever might be left in our body, mind, and spirit, just a general overall cleaning. This time we're going to clean out what they call the mind or being. It could be anything, a little cobweb in your elbow. Let's just get rid of all of it. So again, the shining moon, see it above your head. Allow the light to come in through the top of your head. Go down throughout your body. We're doing a sweep, making sure everything is pristine, beautifully shining light. Everything is cleaned out. And exhale through your heart. Feel how beautiful you feel inside. Feel how clean and light, and you feel like the moon is residing inside your body now. Let's do it 2 more times. Light of the moon shining down through your head. Bring it all the way down through all the parts of your body. And exhale whatever might be remaining through your heart. Relax and just feel the bliss from the cleansing process. And one last time, inhale the light through the top of your head and exhale through your heart. Now you can stay in this state, keep your eyes closed, or if you have them open, close them, because now Prita will start the sonic bath of the Tibetan bowls.
All right, dude. Yeah.
Wonderful. Let me just
Oh my
I'm
goodness.
not a big fan of apologizing, but there is I also nothing happens for a reason. I believe at the beginning there, our microphones were ducking the sound out a little bit, so you weren't experiencing the full oscillation. But once I took Brian and myself, our mics off, we got the nice oscillating feel that we want. That was wonderful.
Amazing as
I feel
always.
great.
You know, wherever your head is at, I want to know where your head is at before you do that last third little section, man. Because every single time, man, that's the place where you take me somewhere every single time. It is amazing. I show up just for that. Where's it gonna go? Anyway, thank you so much. That
No problem.
energy is just it's intoxicating to me. I now want it all the time.
It really is, and something so beautiful. I was saying this last week about kind of the ancient energy of the sound and the oscillation. And if you have never experienced this in person, I urge you to, because you literally are floating with that oscillating sound. You're in the air with it. You're a part of it. It's like it's just so all encompassing.
And those harmonics that happen that just kind of like, ooh, they spread you out and bring you back. It's really amazing. Really.
Well, I would like to, Brian, you said I could make a plug
I
for.
was just going to suggest you do that. Yes.
Yeah, if any of you are listening and are in the Florida area, we've been invited to perform at a meditation weekend in Palmetto Bay, Florida, in a beautiful home.
Awesome.
And it's going to start actually on a Friday evening, just a freebie kind of warm up, a little bit of a, introductory session on January 20th. But then starting at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, it's going to be a full day of meditation with some instructions, some relaxation, some good food, vegetarian food. And then at 6 o'clock, Jack is going to do a full, we're going to do a little bit of the cleansing meditation that we did here today. And then he's going to do like a full 30 or 40 minutes of the bowls. And then at 8 o'clock, we're going to have a dance party with live DJ and my original ecstatic dance music, because I'm a composer as well. And it'll be a very outrageous, very, very life affirmative.
And your friend Mandy gonna jam with you too, man. I like your violin. That'll be
Nandi's coming down from New York, and Nandi is a very extremely talented and gifted musician and DJ and recording engineer. And he's flying down with his little mini iPad and violin. And we're going to blast out the windows. And Palmetto Bay is never going to be the same. We're doing that Saturday evening. And then there's a half a day with more meditation, more bowls. And I'm going to do live piano and singing some very beautiful meditation songs. And then that day will close and the weekend will end. If you want the details on that, you can. And if you're on Facebook, just send a friend request to Satya Sufi, SATYA, Satya Sufi, SUFI, or you can go to his page, and I believe it's the second post in his feed, and it's the advertisement with the address and the program that I just outlined, and there's a meetup link if you want to sign up and come.
Awesome.
So that's the way you can do it. Or you could get in touch with Brian or whatever, however it's best. So thank you, Brian, for letting us put that little plug in. We're very excited. It's only 2 weeks away. And thank you for having us on the show.
Deepest gratitude to both of you.
I'm just happy to share.
We love you, Brian. And I said this last week. We think Michael is such a great compliment. You guys compliment each other so beautifully on the show. And it's always exciting. Michael's kind of laid back and mellow, and Brian's ecstatic and blowing out
Over the top wizardry.
all the sockets. The wizard is blowing everything up, and we just love your energy. And Brian, we're so excited. And if any of you are interested in our Friday morning bowls, it is free. We do it on Zoom. Oh, look at that!
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh my God! So here's our advertisement that Michael just put up, and that you can go there to Satya Sufi's Facebook page, and it explains the weekend, and the address is there in Palmetto Bay. It's a beautiful home. There's some accommodations. If you're a little far away, you can also arrange to spend the night there or two. And it's going to be a beautiful buffet of vegetarian food, most likely Indian. And there's going to be lovely, lovely people that enjoy this kind of meditation, relaxation, introspection, and a little inner vacation, a little inner journey of silence, peace, beauty, purification, sound, benediction, prayer, and ecstatic dancing. My music is ecstatic. It's ecstasy. It's like ecstasy without the drugs.
That's all. So this is the meetup page. If you guys just want to visually show it to people who, just to know you're in the right spot. And this is Satya's Facebook page, just so you know you're in the right spot. If you're interested. And I think the universe is pushing me to start to travel, and maybe I'll have to come give you guys a visit down there. And,
we would love that, Michael. Absolutely.
Well, it's a journey, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We hope to be back on your show, Brian and Michael, and take it to the next. Who say they love dance parties?
Love and dance parties.
I didn't want. All right, so listen. We've also just maybe I'm jumping the gun, but we've also been invited back. Satya's going to India to do a 3-week meditation camp in New Delhi in February, but we're going to do another Jackpot Richie weekend with the music, same kind of format that I just outlined in March, around March 20th. Right. So we will be continuing the music, the meditation, the bowls, and all the yummy stuff.
Wonderful. That's super good.
Totally. Thank you.
And Brian, Michael, thank you. I guess our part is over, so we turn it over to you guys.
Backstage for a little bit. You don't
thank
sign
you.
off.
Thank you, everyone. So blessings and love.
Yes, totally.
So next week, the sun, man, and I think we'll have another a new guest that is a kind of a new friend of mine that Jilly introduced me to, and I'm awesome. Really happy about that. And man, the journey continues, awesome. Out of the darkness and into the light.
I gotta say, just as you said, the sun, one of my favorite pieces of music, and just the feelings that come on when I hear the Beatles' "Here Comes the Sun." When that song starts, the guitar, it's just such an amazing feeling, and it's so significant. I feel like there's so much energy to the song and to the sentiment of "Here Comes the Sun." So yeah, next week's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Excited.
Well, listen, everybody, thank you so much for coming, and I hope everybody enjoyed that absolutely as much as I did. And it's a really special experience. I dig it. It's become a real have to for me. So anyway, love you all, and see you next week.
And Brian, I just want to say to you, I love you so much, and I'm so happy how this show how I've seen you evolve through our friendship, and then especially once we started this show, and you just kind of coming to the front and just being like, this is it. This is really great. I watched the intro that we had filmed when we first started this, and it says so much about who you are and the journey that we're on. So thank you for being here with me, and thank you all for being here, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Adios.